Yes, basically look, FIFA had a problem because this World Cup is going to be the first World Cup ever with 48 teams.
Fala galera, o assunto hoje é Copa do Mundo de 2026. Tá bem longe, mas a gente já vai começar a preparar os tratativos para a Copa. Pois é pessoal, a FIFA vai oficializar a Copa do Mundo com 46 seleções, lá nos Estados Unidos, Canadá e México. E aí, o que vocês acham? Vai ficar mais fácil ou mais difícil do Brasil conquistar o Hexa? Vamos ver o que os ingleses estão falando.
Right, so let's get to major changes for the Men's Football World Cup. And the increased 48-team tournament in 2026 will consist of 12 groups of 4 teams. The decision will be ratified at a FIFA Council meeting in Rwanda today. Well, this is how the new World Cup format will look. There will now be 48 teams rather than the old format of 32. The 48 teams will be split into 12 groups, up from 8. The top 2 teams in each of the groups and 8 best third-place teams will qualify for the round of 32. It's a longer route for the eventual winners of the World Cup, with a total of 8 matches required to win the tournament. The total number of matches played in the tournament will increase from 64 to 104, and the 2026 World Cup final is set to take place on Sunday, July the 19th. I'm delighted to say our chief reporter, Kaveh Solakot, is with us to discuss it. Look, Kaveh, there were signs of it all pointing towards groups of 3. That's not so. Why not?
Yes, basically look, FIFA had a problem because this World Cup is going to be the first World Cup ever with 48 teams. It is going to be much larger than any World Cup before. So they were trying to work out how it was going to be organised. And what it was going to be was something that a lot of people thought was a bit mad. It was going to be 16 groups made up of 3 teams.
Yeah.
And you could have had the situation where some teams would have only played 2 games effectively before being knocked out and going home. So FIFA have had a rethink. I think the rethink as well was accelerated by what happened in Qatar, because FIFA thought, wow, the Qatar World Cup was amazing, it was exciting, having groups of 4, the final games all played at the same time, there's so much jeopardy, there's so much at stake. So that's why they've had a look at it again, and today at this FIFA Council meeting in Rwanda, it is going to be officially approved. So we will see at the World Cup in 2026 this format. We're going to keep with groups of 4, and there's going to be 12 groups, and then the top 2 go through to the knockout stage, as well as the best 8 third-place teams.
OK, just remind us, for those who can't remember, why have we expanded to 48 teams?
Very good question.
Can you remember?
There's 2 ways of looking at it. A lot of people, traditionalists, will say, we're unhappy with this. Why are you having 48 teams? It's too many.
Yeah.
The quality is going to suffer. It's also bad for the environment, having more teams flying around Mexico, Canada, and the USA. That is one side of the argument. The other side of the argument, though, is that FIFA is made up of 211 different countries. And out of those 211, only 78 of them have ever played in the World Cup. 133 countries have never played in the World Cup finals. So they have been lobbying, they've been putting pressure on FIFA to say, look, we need to have a chance to play in these finals as well. Otherwise, you know, the standard of our football is not going to improve. And I think what is a really, really important point as well is if you look at the slot allocation. I know it sounds a little bit boring, but it basically means that, for instance, in the World Cup in Qatar, we only had 5 countries from Africa, even though there are 54 countries in Africa who are FIFA members. So, for instance, if you're in Africa, if you support Egypt, who got knocked out in a playoff and didn't make it to the World Cup finals, that's why we didn't see Mo Salah playing in the World Cup finals, for instance, you will be pleased because their slot allocation is now going to go up from 5 to 9.
Oh, great.
So we'll have almost double as many African teams in the World Cup in 2026. 8 teams, they're going to be from Asia now. 6 teams from CONCACAF. So if you take off your blinkers and stop looking at football just from a Western European perspective, the rest of the world actually